Just picture this for a second. It's a totally normal, quiet Tuesday in the near future. Millions of us are just stuck in morning traffic, drinking our coffee, maybe scrolling through social media, and then suddenly, every satellite in high Earth orbit detects something impossible. A manufactured vessel, literally the size of Manhattan, slips into low Earth orbit in the year 2025. But here's the wild part. They haven't come to conquer us. They aren't here to steal our water or turn us into batteries like in the movies. As we're going to explore today, they've actually arrived to welcome us home, mistakenly believing we are their lost descendants from millions of years ago. It is, without a doubt, the ultimate cosmic case of mistaken identity.
So imagine the absolute total global shock when this happens. A signal sweeps across the entire globe, overriding every television, radio, and smartphone network on Earth. Instead of lasers charging up, we get this synthesized, strangely melodious voice, perfectly translated into every human language. And it delivers what basically amounts to a tearful and honestly kind of patronizing family reunion message. It says, "Greetings, children of Sector 7G. We have finally returned." They're absolutely overjoyed. They genuinely think our colony somehow survived a massive crash millions of years ago.
And this arrival just completely defies all of our sci-fi expectations, right? First off, astronomers notice the object actually slowing down as it passes Mars, not speeding up like a rogue comet. Then this massive megastructure just casually parks itself in our orbit. After that bizarre, super warm global broadcast, they don't attack our military bases. Instead, a glowing white shuttle just glides right down and lands directly on the lawn of the United Nations headquarters in New York. Out steps this elegant, incredibly ancient-looking alien delegation. They just completely ignore the tanks and the heavily armed guards, totally ready to offer humanity this big, warm, planetary hug. Now, you can probably guess what happens next. Human society immediately fractures into three massive, chaotic camps. You've got the believers, who just instantly accept the aliens, starting up new religions and throwing literal rooftop welcome parties. Then you have the skeptical scientists, who are basically pulling their hair out, pointing to the fossil record and DNA that link us directly to Earth's ecosystem. And finally, you have the governments and the military. They really don't care about the whole family reunion aspect. They're just staring at a ship capable of vaporizing continents, absolutely terrified of one looming question. What in the world is going to happen when these aliens finally realize we aren't who they think we are? Section 1. Anatomy of a Cosmic Mistake. So how exactly could a hyper-advanced starfaring civilization get something like this so wrong? Well, surprisingly, the real science of astrobiology and physics shows this is actually highly plausible. It really boils down to three specific astronomical and biological factors working perfectly together to create the ultimate statistical illusion. Let's start with the first factor, transmission spectroscopy. This is actually a real technique we use today to study exoplanets. Basically, as light from a star passes through a planet's atmosphere, gases absorb specific colors, which leaves behind these distinct chemical fingerprints. Now think about this. If these aliens terraformed worlds 6 million years ago, they would have had a very specific template. They'd be looking for a nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere, liquid water, and ozone layer. When they pointed their long-range telescopes at Earth from hundreds of light years away, our planet matched their artificial terraforming template 100% perfectly. And that brilliantly brings us to the second point, convergent evolution. Here on Earth, a shark and a dolphin have the exact same body shape because fluid dynamics demand it, even though one's a fish and the other's a mammal. Now, apply that same logic to space. If these aliens evolved on a rocky planet with standard 1G gravity and an oxygen-rich atmosphere, an intelligent, tool-using species would naturally be bipedal just to free up their hands, right? And they'd have binocular vision for depth perception. So when their probes saw us walking upright and building cities, they didn't see foreign wildlife. They saw creatures that looked and moved exactly like them. Add in millions of years of stellar drift that completely corrupted their ancient navigation records, and these aliens are absolutely certain we are them. In fact, they fall into a massive psychological trap. When the US Secretary General desperately tries to explain human evolution to them, the alien leader, Ambassador Zylar, just responds with this profound pity. He basically says, "It is completely natural that you created stories about evolving from local fauna." It's incredible. Any proof we offer, whether it's ancient stone tools, fossils, or thousands of different languages, is just viewed as tragic proof that our ancestors ship-crashed, causing severe amnesia and technological decay. What follows is arguably the most bizarre geopolitical situation in human history. We are essentially experiencing the ultimate cosmic patronization.
Because the aliens genuinely view us as their long-lost, impoverished children, they feel this supreme moral duty to step in and help us. They just start handing out atmospheric climate scrubbers, late-stage cancer cures, and limitless clean energy generators. And honestly, humanity basically decides to just roll with it. Stock markets skyrocket, global conflicts freeze overnight, and we gladly accept these utopian freebies from our giant new space parents. Section 2. The Great DNA Crisis. This is where the scientific truth finally hits. Because while the public is out there totally enjoying this new golden age, down in a highly secure, deep underground laboratory beneath Switzerland, world-leading geneticists are preparing a standard biological sample for the alien civil registry. This one simple test is about to shatter the golden illusion forever. When a human scientist places a vial of blood into the alien bioscanner, the holographic readout just flashes red. 0.00% match. The alien bioofficer thinks the machine is broken. He recalibrates it. He tests a UN guard. He tests a random lab assistant. But the result is exactly the same every single time. And the reason is actually pretty simple. Our biology operates on an entirely different molecular backbone. It's like we're running completely different operating systems. Earth life uses 4 nucleic bases. The aliens use 6. We use left-handed L-chirality for our amino acids. They use right-handed D-chirality. Our cells run on ATP for energy. Theirs run on a synthetic bimetallic structure we haven't even theorized yet. There is absolutely, positively zero biological overlap. It's at this moment the lead human geneticist, Dr. Elena Rostova, pulls up the evolutionary tree of Earth to lay out the hard truth. She says, we share 60% of our DNA with a banana. Unless your lost colony was made entirely of bananas, we are not from your world. She shows them that Earth life is native, it's completely unbroken, and it stretches back almost 4 billion years all the way to deep-sea hydrothermal vents. The aliens finally realize the truth. Their missing expedition never landed here. We are complete and total strangers. Section 3. 3 planetary futures. Once the jig is up, what happens next? Once the reality sets in that they have spent weeks lavishing priceless utopian technology on a completely native fauna species, the tension is just unimaginable. Based on sociological modeling, this explainer now branches into 3 very different sociopolitical outcomes for us. The first outcome is Future A, the cold goodbye. In this timeline, the alien culture is deeply rooted in pride and heritage. The bureaucratic embarrassment of making such a colossal mistake is just way too much to bear. So, enforcing a strict non-interference protocol, they coldly pack up all their gifts. They turn off the clean energy grids, power down the medical machines, and they simply fly away. Humanity is left completely in the dark, heartbroken, having tasted a utopia that was snatched away. But on the flip side, we'd be incredibly motivated to build our own starships to chase after them. Now, Future B is definitely the darkest scenario, the cosmic landboard. What if they didn't come out of love at all, but simply to reclaim a piece of property? Once that DNA test proves we aren't their descendants, we instantly lose our diplomatic protection. To them, Earth was registered as imperial property 6 million years ago. We aren't their children anymore. We're just unauthorized biological squatters. In this future, humanity is basically handed a giant holographic eviction notice, giving us 30 planetary rotations to vacate major resource zones, forcing us into a totally impossible war for our own planet. But Future C represents the most beautiful and, honestly, perhaps the most scientifically sound scenario, the adoptive sponsor. Instead of anger or embarrassment, the aliens look at our independent evolutionary chain and they just feel profound scientific wonder. I mean, to survive mass extinctions, ice ages, and our own nuclear weapons, and still manage to compose symphonies and build telescopes entirely on our own? To an advanced species, that is a literal cosmic miracle. They choose to mentor us, keeping their technology here and formally welcoming humanity into the galactic family as true equals. Section 4. The real astrobiology. Let's dig into the actual science behind the story. Stepping out of the sci-fi narrative for just a moment, what makes this thought experiment so powerful is the deep science making it tick. First up is the panspermia hypothesis. This is a very legitimate scientific idea that life on Earth could have been seeded from space. We already know that extremophiles, like tardigrades, can survive the freezing vacuum and the intense radiation of space for years. So it is completely scientifically possible that organic molecules or hardy bacteria were dropped on ancient Earth by comets, or maybe even a dead alien probe billions of years ago. If that's actually true, the aliens in our scenario might only be partially wrong. We wouldn't be their direct descendants, sure, but we might actually share a very distant cosmic ancestor. Then we have to talk about the Fermi paradox and the sheer, mind-boggling scale of cosmic time. Just think about this for a second. The universe is 13.8 billion years old. Modern human spaceflight has existed for roughly 70 years. On a cosmic scale, 70 years is literally a microsecond. If an automated alien probe surveyed Earth a mere 5 million years ago, they would have seen primitive hominids roaming around. If they logged that raw data in a database and their creators returned today, they would vastly miscalculate the speed of our evolution. They'd fully expect to find a primitive world, only to show up and find us driving electric cars and streaming video.
Ultimately, this entire scenario acts as a massive mirror reflecting humanity back at itself. Throughout our own history, explorers have constantly misunderstood the origins and the rich histories of the people they encountered. If aliens ever do show up and make a mistake about who we are, it really just highlights one incredible truth. We didn't need ancient astronauts or a benevolent alien empire to build our world. We aren't lost. We are right where we belong, and we built this civilization entirely ourselves.
So I want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought to ponder today. Put yourself right in the shoes of those world leaders standing on the UN lawn. If advanced aliens arrived tomorrow, offering infinite clean energy and cures for literally every disease, but only because they insisted you were their long-lost cousin, what would you do? Would you take the utopian gifts and just quietly play along with the illusion? Or would you demand a DNA test for the sake of the absolute truth?
Please like and subscribe.